and welcome to AIM Storytellers Spotlight. My name is Ekta Bajaj, and I'm an author and a literary curator. I love stories, as you all know. And usually, when I have a podcast with someone, I prepare. I do prepare some questions. I prepare how the flow of the podcast will go. But today, I haven't prepared. And the only reason behind that is because the story is so authentic. It is just so raw. I just wanted to capture it in its authenticity, in its rawness. I didn't want to bring the commercial angle of it because it has a value way beyond that. I have always been a very spiritual person, and you all know that. I've always believed in the power that exists, the force that guides us to do things that we may not have actually imagined any time. And suddenly we find ourselves in a path that we didn't choose for ourselves, and we almost feel like we've been thrown into that path, or we have been actually shoved into that path. And eventually that path becomes our purpose, our destiny. And today with me, I'm joined by a very beautiful young 21-year-old producer. Yes, I did say producer. And beyond that, she's also a very sorted young woman who's actually found her purpose. So I welcome you, Anupriya Nagar.
Thank you so
And
much.
just give us a little introduction about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to thank you for the lovely introduction and for having me here. So, I've been born and brought up in Mumbai, the city, the heart of Bollywood. So, you can imagine the love and passion for film
Yeah.
is in my blood. I studied at a school named Aryavidya Mandir, and I do give a lot of credit to my school for the spirituality that they've inculcated in me. And of course, I have grown up in a very spiritually rich environment at home as well.
Mm.
My mom and my dad both have, given me those values, and all the festivals and traditions that we have celebrated together back at home are a very memorable part of me. Then I came to the University of Bath in UK for my undergrad, and I studied economics for 3 years. And I believe this was more than just an academic journey for me.
Mm.
I got the chance to represent my country on a national level in dance.
Wow.
Yes, so
Kind of dance.
Bollywood dance. So it
Okay.
was an amazing experience because I'll tell you what. This happened in the first year of my university, and this is when everything's very new, and a lot of international students
Mm.
will relate with me over here that you've been thrown into this place, and you're trying to find your people, with the same mindset as yours, and there's a lot of pressure on you as well. New environment, new people, a new place altogether. You're trying to figure things out, right? And I got to meet a lot of like-minded people through my culture, and I'm
Mm.
so glad. I'm still amazing friends with them, and it was an amazing experience that I had. And apart from that, I got the chance to chair and lead a Raise and Give Society, which is a charitable society at Bath. So I got to work with a lot of charities, with Marie Curie, and a lot of other ones. And it was a very fulfilling experience. It was with a lot of people on my team as well, with the same kind of ambition.
Mm.
And then I graduated last year in July, and I was going to be traveling to Zurich for work because I've always been inclined to art, right? I've been an artist myself for over a decade.
Wow.
And I feel art is also a way that you communicate, right? Your expressions, your emotions. So I wanted to study that even in depth, and to experience that world, that industry. So I was gonna be going there, so I went back to India, to get some rest in all the chaos that I was going through. And that's when I came across the fact that there's something deeper that I want to be working with, and there's a beautiful story to tell
Yeah.
from
I
abroad.
almost feel like I'm speaking to not a 21-year-old. There is just so much wisdom in your words. Well, you've done economics, you've done
Hmm.
dance, you've
Hmm.
done art,
Yes.
and of course, you're a film producer.
Yeah.
So, what an amazing journey, Anupriya. Um, I completely believe that
Hmm.
the seeds of everything that we are doing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
we feel the, or we just feel like doing. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I realize that I jump into being an artist myself a couple
Hmm.
of years back, and I didn't understand where those seeds were coming from because I'm an author. I write a lot, so I was like, where's this whole thing about painting coming from? And then I realized that actually, when my dad used to paint and I used to watch him paint, I may have just observed that and kept that within me, and it just sprouted at the right time. So I want to take you back to your childhood, okay, and just tell me in briefly, how has your childhood shaped your culture
Yes.
shaped you into becoming the person that you're, or how has it shaped the way you see the world?
Absolutely. I feel like going back in time, I have been surrounded by a lot of culture and spirituality. And back, probably 10, 15 years ago, I would not realize it. It was very involuntary for me. It was my normal, right? And we still do, in fact, celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. It was one of my favorite festivals.
In Mumbai, I suppose.
Yes, yes. It's a huge celebration, and it's amazing because when we get so it's a Ganpati idol that we get home, and then we put in the soul in the murti, in the idol, for that 1.5 days. And those 1.5 half days are just amazing, filled with love and sweets and, a lot of tradition. And, a lot of my friends and my brother's friends, they come over, and, the Panditji makes us do aarti. And as we've all studied in the same school, so we all know the aartis, all the
Yeah.
rituals. And, we go on and on. We do those rituals for about an hour or so. And I mean, I've heard my friends say that they've been levitating, and they've reached a different
Your
zone
friends,
altogether.
like
My friends, yes,
21-year-olds.
yes, my friends.
Wow.
You can imagine.
Wow.
So of course, it's been in me. And for example, so I've done art, in my ninth and 10th grade. I had taken that as my third subject. And again, it didn't even click me that I have to do something related to my culture. So we had to pick a topic, and we had to do an entire project on that. We had to make huge canvases and stuff. And I took up the topic of the dances of India.
Wow.
you know
Nice.
because different parts of
Mm.
India have different dances, different cultures, right? So I took that. So I've made one Kutch, one Kuchipudi, one on the Rajasthan dance, and we've done Kathak, and I've made a 2 feet pot on Navratri. you know
Amazing.
so you can see, like, a lot of culture has been in all the things that I do very unknowingly. I never thought that, oh, I need to go on this path. It was on autopilot.
Amazing. But it's one thing to have
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
and it's another to go one step ahead
Mm-hmm.
and actually make that your purpose. So
Yeah.
we're going to come to your journey with Neem Karoli Babaji. And thanks to you, I have been introduced to him with such depth, and I have huge reverence for him. Of course, I knew about him as well, but um, Neem Karoli Babaji made way into your life, your young life. And I'm so amazed because, usually you have people who you can hear their sermons, you can read their books,
Mm.
or there's be something documented on the internet archive, or where you can actually go back and be inspired by something that has been written. But here is a one Baba who has never given a sermon, who has never written a book. You've not met him, and yet he inspired you so much that you decided to produce a movie based on him. By the way, uh, Anupriya is the producer behind the movie, which is a biopic on Neem Karoli Babaji. It's called Hanuman Ansh. So tell me, how did that happen? When did you think that I want to really understand what was the first moment when you were inspired by Neem Karoli Babaji?
Absolutely. So, I was going to Zurich to work, and I was just in India for a couple of months, and that's when I have discovered the fact that Baba has influenced a lot of foreigners. Including Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. In fact, I had come across the fact that he influenced Steve Jobs while I was in university, my final year. I was doing a
I
project.
suppose Steve Jobs never met him,
Yeah, he did not
which
meet
is
him.
again a very
Yeah.
amazing thing.
Yeah, he in fact he reached Kechi Dham, which is
Mm.
Baba's ashram in North India, just a couple of weeks after Baba had
That's
left his body,
yeah.
and he stayed there for a couple of weeks, and to sort of gain that clarity and direction in his career, and that's when he went back to America, and then of course he made Apple. And he there are a lot of like pictures and videos of him where you can actually see a picture of Baba on his desk
Yes,
wherever
I've
he
seen
works.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming across a lot of these foreign, well-known people, including Julia Roberts, they've never met Baba, but their lives have been influenced in such a critical way,
Mm.
and I felt that a lot of Indians didn't know his story. He is a mystical being. He has lived in ours
Yeah.
on our soil.
And it was not very long back.
Yeah, it was not very long back. He left his body in 73,
Yeah.
and it was not that very long back. And only recently in 2019 did Virat Kohli
Virat
and
Kohli.
Anushka Sharma, exactly, they started following him, and they visited Kechi Dham and stuff. So very recently, it has picked up, but I'm very glad that it has. There are people going to Kechi Dham, 25,000 people every day, and I'm really glad that people are getting to know a little bit more about him. But my focus is that his, again, as you said, his teachings are not in a textbook or in a book that he has written. In fact, he never wrote any book in all of that. But um, that is when that thought came into me that okay, I need to tell his story. Not only just India but all across the world. His teachings are very simple: love all, feed all, and say God's name. This is very simple, right? And that's when I gathered my entire team together. So we're three women producers
Wow.
of three different
Amazing.
generations. Very incredibly strong, have incredible creative vision, and our director who has also written the book that our film is based on.
So,
Um,
what's the name of the book?
it's called Divine Detour.
So, the book is actually adapted from Divine Detour. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. So we all came together. We have formed an incredible team, and everyone in the team has some sort of connection with Baba. Including the producers, the director, the executive producer, line producer. Everyone has some sort of connection, some sort of, they say it's a calling, by Baba.
Aye.
And again, I feel like we're just selling a story. We're not I don't think that, oh, we've done something great. It is our job to do it, and Baba has chosen us. We're just the medium through which his story will be told, and I feel very fortunate that I've been chosen, at such a young age. So I feel great, and I feel blessed by Baba.
What amazing words. Um, I read somewhere and I was listening to lots of
Yeah,
videos on Neem
yeah.
Karoli Babaji. And there's somewhere I heard
Mm.
that he actually did say that there will be a time when there'll be a lot of people who'll come to Kechi Dham, right? And he had already made that thing, even though he took Mahasamadhi in Vrindavan, but yet he said that Kechi Dham will become the place for people, for devotees to come, and a lot of people will be inspired. So I felt that thought was so amazing in the sense that
Mm.
he knew this is going to happen,
Mm.
and for him to then choose people like you, and there may be others, your director who wrote the book, and many others. So, how do you feel that in the larger scheme of events,
Mm.
you were a part as well?
Mm.
Is
No,
how does
absolutely.
that feel?
So the saying that you're saying, So he said that log cheetio jaise aayenge
I know,
Kachi
I read
Dham.
that.
They'll come like ants,
Yeah.
and
I
in
suppose it's
Vrindavan.
happening.
It is. I'm telling you, it is. And when I visited Kachi Dham, uh, and we were worried that because we had a very cut short time. We went to Kachi Dham and we had to go back to Vrindavan during our poster reveal, and it was raining that day.
Mm.
So because of the rain, there were not many people there, and I got the chance to actually stand in front of his murti for 5 minutes, and that
Amazing.
it's not possible. In I'm still getting goosebumps when I'm saying this because it's unreal.
Mm.
But as you said, that I feel like I've been chosen for this, and I can give you one very very a good example of the actor Shobhinav Satya.
Mm.
He has been a follower of Baba for 13 years.
Wow.
He has been a follower, and he didn't want to get into the acting business. He was in a different industry, like in the same industry, but in a different sector of it. And the way that this film went to him, it's a beautiful story, and again, that's how we feel, with these kind of stories that yeah, these were the people who were meant to play Baba, to be a part of Baba's story and Baba's movie, and to be told to the entire
And
world.
like I was telling you
Yeah.
before, 2 years back, so I was given Neem Karoli Baba's picture at a networking event randomly by someone. And I'd kept that in my altar. I was telling you this.
Yeah.
And in January this year, he came in my dreams, and I was like, maybe there is something. So when I just lighted the eye, I always just speak to him as though he's there. So it's amazing that maybe maybe this is all
Of
part of the
course,
plan.
of course, this is your part that you're playing in Baba's story. Honestly, we all are
We all
playing
are.
our part in Baba's story.
Absolutely. But what about Neem Karoli Baba's teaching? Um, what is that one essence that you want people to understand or to take when they watch the movie?
Absolutely. So I feel this generation, we're kind of finding that meaning in life, and there's this inner peace that we're trying to find, and we're lying on bed at 2 a.m. trying to consume the entire world just through a screen, and we're actually not living in the present, right? Um, but what Baba's teachings makes you believe that there are things that you can do in life, you can help people in life, and that's how you can live in present. Even if you're sitting in a temple and meditating and chanting, all those thoughts, those million thoughts, they will get calm, and you will be in the present, you'll be living in the present. So, and especially Baba's teaching of loving everyone, serving everyone, feeding everyone is the one thing that relates to me a lot, because uh, it's in each and every tradition and culture and religion to feed everyone, from different occasions like weddings,
Yeah.
be it, any sort of, a big event or big festival, whether it's Diwali, Eid, or, when you go to a temple or a church or a mosque, everywhere you're just feeding people, right? That's the main part, right? And that really resonates with me, and that is the one message that I want to take to the world, because this is very simple, right? I mean, even if you're at the signal in India, and then there are some kids who are coming, all they need is just food, right? I mean, the max you could do, the minimum that you could do is just give them a packet of Parle-G, or something, water, because it's so hot in India. And I feel we're very fortunate to live the life that we live, and the bare minimum we can do is to give someone food or help them out, even if you don't want to if you can't feed someone, even help them out. And I believe in karma. If you do good, good will come back to you. And I feel even if it's if you can't feed a human, feed an animal. If not an animal, just water a plant.
And I feel what you're saying is absolutely true, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it's coming from a younger generation, the generation which I feel is lost nowadays. But What I've
Yeah.
seen on social media is that
Mm.
people are doing a lot of
Mm.
these random act of kindness, but
Mm-hmm.
everything is recorded, is scripted, or I just feel that it's so scripted that how can you just um, talk about it,
Mm.
or just show this is what I did. So where is the authenticity? Where is the intention behind it? I mean, I find that
Mm.
a little strange, or it just puts me off, to be
No,
honest.
absolutely. I mean, if you just, in contrast, you see
Hmm.
Baba, he never liked anyone taking pictures of him
Hmm.
or even write a book on him. And, he used to do all of this. He never, in fact, even said, feed everyone, serve everyone. It was all through his actions, you know. And, I mean, he lived in the British Raj, right? And there was a lot of noise and chaos in that world. But his teachings were through his actions in silence, right?
That is a beautiful line.
Right?
Beautiful line. Action and silence.
Mm.
And I'm really intrigued also. You must have gone through some shift within you as well
Mm. Yeah.
while making this film. I'm sure the Anupriya who decided one day that I'm going to make a film,
Mm.
which, by the way, there'll be millions who would have gone there and who would have had that thought.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
then there's just one
Mm.
who actually took the step, which is His Grace again. Um, and the Anupriya who's now speaking such words of wisdom. There must have been a huge shift within. I want to understand, did you
Yeah.
go through some transformation?
Absolutely. So as you said that, I'm the chosen one, and I think we were talking about this earlier as
Yeah,
well, that his story can be told by anyone in the world, right? There are such amazing filmmakers in India itself. But the fact that I am chosen at this age is wonderful, and I feel blessed. And the fact that what changed in me, so in February is when I went to Kechi Dham the first time. And a lot of people used to tell me that when you go there, something in your life changes, right? But you can't explain how. And I used to think, okay, I mean, let's see. I didn't go with anything in my mind, but I'm just gonna go there, with all the love and peace, and get Baba's darshan. And as I said, it was raining. It was the water was feet numbing,
oh,
and we also had a lot of things planned after that as well. So I entered and I'm standing in front of Baba for 5 minutes, and my eyes are shut, and I just know, feeling that yeah, Baba is in front of me, and I start having this internal conversation with him,
oh.
which is not forced at all. It just happened, and a lot of questions that I had in my mind um, were kind of answered. I don't even know how to explain it. That feeling.
I understand.
But that is the exact time when I had that connection, that heart to heart connection. Um, and there have been times in my life where I've been stuck, and I just surrender, and Baba's there to help me. I'll tell you this very very brief story. So we were on our way from Delhi to Agra, and it was we were 60 kilometers into our journey, and our car breaks down in the middle of the highway. And I'm like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna get another car? And we had to reach somewhere at a particular time. So we were very like cut to cut. And then I just opened my app, and I'm like, okay, let me try booking an Uber. So I book an Uber, and I see, the request has been accepted, and the Uber's coming. He calls me. He's like, yeah, I can see your car. Your car's broke down. I'm just taking a U-turn and I'm coming. I'm like, perfect. And then he comes. We load the car, and so I'm the kid of the entire group, right? Because I'm the young one, the 21-year-old. So I've been made to sit in the middle. And 5 minutes into the journey, I see this picture hanging from the mirror, and that's Neem Karoli Baba's picture. And I froze for a second, and I asked the driver Bhaiya that, is this Neem Karoli Baba? Do you believe in him? He's like, yeah, I'm a great believer.
Wow.
My mother believes in him. And I just thought to myself that, we had a problem. I didn't even think about opening Uber, the app. on my phone, but I don't know how it just involuntarily happened, and everything just happened so beautifully, and then I see Baba in front of me, so all of these things, a lot of these things have happened with us, and he's been always there to protect us and to help us out in any way that that we've been in trouble. And all of these things, just make your bond deeper with
Amazing.
Baba.
And I suppose these are one of those things that you really can't explain anyone, and it's something that you actually feel within. It's a very small shift within, so I completely understand that. Now, coming to some technical talks about the film making itself, um, when you're making a biopic on somebody who is so revered, somebody who's so untainted,
Yeah.
yeah, how did you manage to have that balance of creative storytelling? Also, because you have to make it entertaining as well, it has to have that element of superb storytelling as well,
Yeah.
without actually messing with the authenticity of his who he really
Yeah, yeah,
was.
yeah,
So how did you
absolutely.
actually manage that?
That is a very, uh, this is something that we have to always keep in mind, because it's a responsibility on our shoulders, the entire team's shoulder, because it is a saint we're talking about. We
Yes.
can't, even if it's a film, we can't add even a percent of drama in it. We cannot, and we should not, right? And we've been very, very careful with everything that we've put together. And I had visited Vrindavan, and I had the opportunity to interact with Premanand Maharaj.
Amazing.
Yes, and
So inspired by him.
I know he's amazing, and what he is doing and
Yeah.
what he is going through, it's impeccable.
Wow.
And even sitting in that room,
I can
like
imagine.
I mean, I'm sure my parents didn't notice it, but when they even started reciting that Radha,
Yeah.
I just had tears rolling down my cheeks. Like I don't know, but something just gets sparked, and you get into that role. But when I met him, he in fact said that this is a great responsibility. You have to go through a lot of steps. It's like onion layers. You have to go through a lot of things to make sure that you're doing the right thing, the right story's been told. So because I had gone there right after we had finished making the film. And whatever he was saying in my mind, I was like, yes, yes, we've done this. Yes, we've done this. So our director, he has spent a lot of time, doing his research. He's met a lot of people who has spent time with Baba. We met Dinesh Ji, who was a pandit at the Vrindavan Mahasamadhi, and he has spent a lot of time. So we have sat with him, we have spoken to him about all the stories and everything. And when he was, in fact, telling us stories about Baba, we're like, oh my God, this is there in our film, this is there in our film, this is, so it's a very sweet feeling. And as part of adding that fun bit to our film, I feel our songs do it all. So we've got 10 songs, and we've got 2 chants given by Krishna Das ji.
Oh, beautiful.
So we're very blessed that he's been associated with us, and he's blessed our poster as well. So that type of tempo, and we have different types of songs. So one will be like fully touching your heart and very soothing, and the second one will be very upbeat. You like to like tap your feet and hum to the songs, right? So that adds a lot to the cinematic bit of our film. But we've kept the film very real, very to the point. So every scene has something to take away. Even if it's the smallest message of Baba to take away, there will be. But yeah, this is what we've tried to do with the film.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And also because, the younger generation today, not even the younger generation, I would say that everyone in today's time is so lost,
Yeah.
in a sense that there is just so much out there to explore. There is just so much competition.
Yeah.
Everything is so materialistic, and yet there is this whole doom.
I know.
There is a sense of doom all over the world, and everyone is looking for hope. Everyone is looking for something that exists that they don't understand, because they're looking for answers. And especially the younger generation, I would
Yeah.
say, who's so obsessed with this whole concept of showing
Showing off
something,
something, yeah.
who they're not able to be themselves.
Hmm.
Um,
True.
so
Hmm.
how, or in that sense, what is the message that you want the younger generation to take,
Hmm.
especially because as you are one of them,
Hmm.
you
True.
know?
Yeah. Hmm.
So, what is it that you want to tell to your fellow
Yes, absolutely.
generation?
So, I'm just gonna say I was never always like this,
Mm,
back, I would say if I rewind 2 or 3 years, I would also be, chasing behind grades or, uh, just that A on a paper or something like that. And, I feel people of this generation are craving that sort of validation. I think that's the right word
yeah,
to use,
absolutely.
for this part of the generation. And, but after I've gotten into this film and after I have started following Baba and his teachings, I feel like, everything is materialistic, uh, but just that, if you just have the correct intent, and if you do something with the best thing at heart, you've won in life, and another thing that Baba says, and my Nana ji used to say when I was a child, that neki kar aur kuएं में डाल. You do something that's good, and then you forget about it, because again, in this generation, people expect a lot, in return. If I do something good, I do expect you to return it back to me, right? But that's what even Baba says. And also someone who's very close to Baba, and has spent a lot of time with Baba. I don't want to name who it is, but she said that Baba always said ki, don't put your hand like this in front of people. Always do this. So
Always
don't,
give.
yeah, always give.
Mm,
Don't expect anything
don't
back,
ask for
right?
something.
Yes. So this is what I really want to tell the young generation to, do whatever you can with good intent, and serve the people who are in need, and don't expect anything in back. And again, believe in karma. Whatever you do good, just know that someone's watching, Baba's watching. Good things will come back to you.
And it could be literally just anything. I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
huge believer that all these gurus, they have
Mm.
this guru mandal somewhere out there. And, they
Yeah.
all just vibrate at the same
Yeah.
frequency, because
Mm.
sometimes you can get a message from one. For
Yeah.
me, I mean, I read lots of stories of, and I'm a huge, huge,
Mm.
huge fan of Swami Vivekananda.
Oh, yes.
So I feel that they all have, they've attained something, and they all just
Yeah.
vibrate at a certain frequency.
Yes.
And as long as you're able to connect to that
Mm.
frequency, everyone has the same message:
Yes,
be in the
absolutely.
moment,
Hmm.
serve others, love
Yeah.
others, and that's it,
No,
isn't it?
that's so true. I
Simple
mean,
life.
yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, Swami Vivekananda, I have grown up learning his those 10 phrases, as I've studied in Arya Samaj school. So I completely understand what you're saying. All of his teachings are very simple, and just do everything, and don't think about, again, there's another thing, don't think about what others are thinking, because that also sometimes restricts you in what you want to do. So there's this very famous saying, where if someone wants to do something, they'll find 1,000 reasons to do it. But if someone does not want to do something, they'll find 1,000 reasons to refrain doing it. You know,
Absolutely.
and that also I reflected to my journey. Being a 21-year-old, it's not really easy to get into this industry. It might feel a little daunting and intimidating. Also, because I've not, formally studied this subject. But I think, the ambition that I had, the emotional connect that I had with the subject, I just poured everything that I had into it. And then I learned everything just from my experience, because there is a lot to learn,
Mm.
from, like the legalities to your IP ownership to a lot of different things. But I'm so glad I got this opportunity and I got to get into this industry with such a pure subject.
You started with a very beautiful place.
Yes.
But coming back to filmmaking again,
Mm.
so you were telling me you actually shot this movie really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And how
Yeah.
many days for that?
So it was, I would say, around a month or so. Uh,
Amazing. The whole movie.
yes, yes. So the shooting was done there, in Chitrakoot. We shot it. So it's
Wow.
Lord Ram's
Yeah, of
dharti, where
course.
he has spent a lot of
So,
years
for
there.
those who don't know, Lord Ram and Masita, they were there when they had been on an exile.
Yes, absolutely. And just a little context. So our film's title is Hanuman Ansh. So that means a part.
Oh, so was that deliberate or was that just happened?
Yes. No, no, no. So we were looking at places, and then it just happened to be Chitrakoot. And then we thought that, oh my God, that's such an amazing connection,
So
right?
again, for those who don't know, Neem Karoli Baba is actually known as an avatar of Hanumanji,
Yes.
which is why he always says the name. He would just repeat the name Ram Ram, isn't it?
Bilkul.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so he's the greatest bhakt of Hanumanji, and Hanumanji is the greatest bhakt of Ramji. So Chitrakoot was the best place that we could shoot, and we've had amazing shots, and I would say this, that we're going to put a special thanks to all the langurs and the monkeys,
Who
which,
naturally just came there.
yes, they have naturally come, and
Oh.
it's beautiful. You will, when you watch the film, you will see, and you will actually smile when you see that. I mean, they've come in like they're paid actors, honestly. It's beautiful to see. And again, there have been times where we've hosted a bandara, and the monkey has come, has picked up the plate of puri and sabji, and he's eating it right behind the established murti of Hanumanji that we have established over there. So a lot of amazing things have happened, and so we did the shooting in Chitrakoot, and I would say that our entire team also has something to do with Uttar Pradesh. So my mom's from UP. All of my producers are also from UP. So is my director, our actor as well, Shobhinav. He's also from Uttar Pradesh. And then there's no better place. I mean, then we went to Chitrakoot as well. Um, and Baba has lived. He's born in Akbarpur in Uttar Pradesh, and he has traveled all across. He's been to Lucknow. He established Hanuman Setu, the mandir over there. So again, everything that has happened with us, it just happens in that moment. And then when we look back, we're like, okay, that's amazing. We would have never thought it would pan out this way.
So, was there any time when you were actually shooting for the film, and you had self doubt? You were thinking, "Am I really the chosen one, or was it
Yeah.
just a fragment of my imagination? Did I just, bring the whole
Yeah.
team together for
Yeah.
nothing?" Was there a moment like that?
So I was not entirely there on the set that time. But these are the stories that I've heard from my director. He is incredible. He is super talented,
Who is
and
the director?
Vishal Chaturvedi ji.
Vishal
So
Chakra.
he has poured his heart into this film. And he tells me there are a lot of times that they had faced some issues. For example, there's a train scene. The very famous train scene of Baba. There was some complications in that, but then when you kind of also talk about the story to the people working in that area, uh, you know, they kind of switch, and they're like, okay, what can we do for you? You know, and then a lot of this has happened a lot of times, and honestly, Baba has been with us. I never say that Baba has passed. He is amongst us. He's always guiding the way forward for us.
Have you ever seen him in your dreams?
I have not seen him in my dreams,
Mm.
but I have felt his presence. When we were in Vrindavan for our poster reveal, we were sitting right outside his room, and we were reciting the Hanuman Chalisa 11 times, and then we went on and we did a bandara behind. And there are photos of him, sitting in that place and stuff. And when we were reciting the Hanuman Chalisa, I could feel his presence. I could feel him, come out of his room and be amongst us, and that really warmed my heart. And that's when I felt that, okay, you know what, we have his blessings, and we're doing the right thing, because we had gone to Uttar Pradesh for some film work, and it came to my mind that, and we were ready with our first poster, and we were actually thinking of coming back to Mumbai and doing a poster reveal. And I thought to myself, I was like, we're going to Vrindavan, we're going to Kechi Dham. We should just, we should take his ashirwad, we should take his blessing, and just get it done over here in a very pure manner, by reciting Hanuman Chalisa 11 times and doing exactly what he does. That's the best way to go forward. And that's what we did. And that's when I felt his presence over there.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Again, coming back to the film, so
Yeah.
you were the youngest, you said, in your team. And, this is the first film that you have done, which obviously starts from this level. I want to understand, is this something that you would want to do?
Mm.
And what is it that you learned about filmmaking
Yeah. True.
during this whole journey? And would you want to continue it?
I will definitely love to continue it. So we're making a trilogy. So this is just the first part
Okay.
about Baba's life from the age of 13 till 30. And then the second one, and then the third one.
And why is that? Because there were just so many stories?
There's so many stories. We can make 10 films. We're feeling that 3 is too short, to consolidate all of his amazing stories. But yeah, so we are doing these 3 films. And after that, I feel like uh, I do want to tell stories about, the saints, the heroes of India that not a lot of people know about. Because I mean, there are a certain section of the industry who are making thriller, action, rom-coms, and I think they should be doing that. But I think I'm the one who should be focusing on this part of the cinema. And I'm looking forward. I think I've just scratched the surface. This is just the beginning. And I'm so glad that I got to start my journey with Baba. Yeah.
Do you think the younger generation nowadays is more spiritually awakened than the generation before? Because I feel that. I feel that, when we were growing up, I mean, 20 years back, I've always been very, very spiritual.
Yes.
Ever since I was a little girl, I know that. But 25 years back, when I would speak to my friends about this, they would be a very general kind of a thing. Oh, you become a, like Mata or a Devi or
Yes.
whatever it may be.
Oh my God.
But
yes.
now, all those people
Mm.
are coming into this field, and now I see the younger generation embracing it with such beauty as well. I mean, I do say that they are lost, but I also feel that a huge chunk of this generation is quite awakened in that sense. They are quite wise souls.
No, that's so right. I mean, the fact that you said a part of them.
Yeah.
So I would say there is a certain chunk of our generation who is spiritually awakened, and they're following the path of spirituality. But I also do understand that there is a certain part who does not believe in it, but I also think that they're not introduced to it. And I can say that from personal experiences, because when I spoke about me working on this project, making a film on Baba with my friends, they sort of didn't understand it in the first go, because again they didn't have access to this kind of this culture probably. Um, and uh, but I was so enthusiastic to tell them about Baba, and that's when they started knowing a little bit more about him. And there are some of my friends who say that, oh, I know Baba just because of you.
Oh.
And that's very sweet. But I think people do want to get into this, and nowadays they call it mindfulness and
Yes.
what's it called, mental peace, but it is spirituality, right? End of the day.
Absolutely, I 110% agree with you, because I am a lot into Vedanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I, as because Swami Vivekananda,
Yeah.
so I read lots of Vedic text. I read lots of Upanishads, and once I started reading them, ever since that, without, and even though I'm a publisher, I'm
Yes.
saying this, but the self-help book, they felt so limited
Okay. Yeah.
because the amount of wisdom that is there in these ancient texts, the amount of wisdom that we have in Vedanta, mindfulness is just one small speck of it. So I feel that, people like Neem Karoli Baba, their simplicity, the simplest message that they
Yeah.
um, gave was about just living in the moment
Absolutely.
and just living joyfully. Because when I think of Neem Karoli Baba, I see a very smiling face,
Yes. Yes. Very playful.
very playful, and it's almost like Hanumanji. How would
Yes.
you would
Oh my
imagine,
God.
isn't
Yes.
it?
Absolutely.
So I feel that that is just
I
quite
know. I
amazing.
know. It is.
I've
It's
lost
so
the train of
amazing.
thought because I started thinking of his
Yeah.
joyful face.
Yeah.
But
No, you get lost. You get lost in it. I'm with you. And when we casted Shobhinav as well, and you've seen our a little bit of the trailer as well. Um, we have that sort of reflection in it. Good.
so this movie Hanuman Ansh, when is it releasing?
So it's releasing in June 2026. The end of June is when you'll be able to watch the film.
And it's releasing worldwide.
Yes, it's releasing worldwide, and we're super excited for that.
How amazing.
Yes.
I still can't believe that at this age you've studied, you've done your degree, and you've managed to do this. So that just sounds amazing. Now, as a last section of this, as I was telling you, I always invite my guests to bring one icon or an
Yeah.
object that just is very closely connected to a
Yeah.
particular memory or place or something that has inspired them.
Yes.
Would you like to share something?
Yes, absolutely. So there's this one ring. Um, Sorry, my hand's a little swollen because it's so hot here. But there's this beautiful ring that was given to my mother. My father had given it to her. And she used to keep this, it's like this token of love, obviously. I mean, which
Oh,
woman does
good old
not
romantic days.
enjoy?
That generation was very
Yes,
romantic.
yes, that generation only. But yeah, so she used to keep this, and when I got into university, I was obviously moving abroad, leaving my family behind, and I knew that I will miss them a lot because I'm a very family oriented person. I love being around family. So that's when my mom gave me this ring, and she said that you wear this, and you will have your mom, your dad always with you, protecting you and supporting you, no matter where you are, which part of the world you are. So that's very sweet. I mean, I always have this on, and it fits me like a glove. So I tell my mom that I think it was meant to be with me.
It was meant to be your ring.
Yeah.
Almost in a very faint sense, you could just compare it to the kambal that his wife
Oh
gave him.
my God, yes.
Isn't it? I
Yes,
just
that's so
imagine it.
sweet. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, it's like a blanket of love,
It
like
just
like
gave
a
me
little icon of
goosebumps.
love.
Yeah.
Now, also have to ask you to do some chanting for us.
Of course.
I'm very much into Sanskrit. I love Sanskrit.
Yeah.
At this age, I've done my GCSE in Sanskrit
Wow.
because I'm so
Yes.
intrigued. Because I feel that Sanskrit is one of those languages that
Mother of all languages.
if you
Mm.
understand, if you want to read a text, especially an authentic Vedic text,
Yeah.
if you don't know Sanskrit, you're just not doing justice to it. So
Yeah.
to understand that,
Yeah.
I read Sanskrit
Yeah.
and I'm completely into it. So just want you
Yes,
to
no.
do some reciting for us.
Absolutely. But I would also like to say that Sanskrit is the most beautiful language. I mean, I've also got the chance to study this language, and I've also learned French, German, and a lot of other languages. And when I am studying these languages, I do come back and I'm like, oh my God, there is so much coming from Sanskrit.
Yeah, there's a route. In fact, during the study, our teacher, we used to have this whole session on how every language has stemmed out of Sanskrit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's just not a language.
Hmm.
It is healing in itself. It's a healing in motion
Yeah.
because the more you speak,
Hmm.
the more you heal.
Yes.
And that
That's so
is what
true.
mantras do,
Oh, that's beautiful.
isn't it?
That is such a beautiful way to
Yeah.
say it. Yes. So I'll go on. I will recite this mantra. It talks about every part of your body, and it's called the Sandhya mantra. Yeah,
Sandhya is evening.
evening. Yes. ॐ शन्नो देवीरभिष्टयः आपो भवन्तु पीतये शंयोरभिष्टवन्तु नः ॐ वाक् वाक् ॐ प्रण प्रण ॐ चक्षु चक्षु ॐ श्रोत्रं श्रोत्रम् ॐ नाभि ॐ हृदय ॐ कण्ठ ॐ शिरः ॐ बहुव्यायशो बलम् ॐ कर्त कर्तिष्ठे ॐ भुः पुनातु शिरसि ॐ भुः पुनातु नेत्रयो ॐ स्वः पुनातु कण्ठे ॐ महः पुनातु हृदये ॐ जन पुनातु नाभ्याम् ॐ तप पुनातु पादयो ॐ सत्यं पुनातु पुनः शिरसि ॐ खब्रं पुनातु सवद्रम् ॐ भुव ॐ स्वः ॐ मः ॐ जन ॐ तप ॐ सत्यम् ॐ ऋतं च सत्यं च बिद्धा तपसो दजायत ततो रात्रजायत ततो समुद्रो अर्णवः ॐ समुद्रादर्णवादधि संवत्सरो अजायत अहोरात्राणि मिगधविश्वसमिश्वतो वशि ॐ सूर्याचन्द्रमसौ धाता यथा पूर्वमकल्पयत् दिविं च पृथिवीं च अन्तरिक्षमतो स्वाहा ॐ प्राची दिगनिरधिपतिरशितो रक्षितादित्यायिषवः तेभ्यो नमोऽधिपतिभ्यो नमो रक्षितभ्यो नमो ईशभ्यो नमो एभ्यो अस्तु यो अस्मान् वेष्टियं वयं च स्पस्तं भोजं दद्मः ॐ शान्ति
Beautiful, beautiful. And your recitation was just so perfect. I mean, amazing. Do you recite this every day?
So we used to recite this every Wednesday back in school.
Arya Samaj Mandir.
Yes. And I do try to recite this once in a week at least to just keep the entire cycle going forward. Yeah.
I'm truly, truly honored to have this podcast with you, Anupriya, because not only because you're just this amazing person and you are the chosen one, I would say, but also because it gives me hope when I see youngsters like you. It gives me hope that we will be leaving the world in a very safe space, that these stories that have been scripted for us, they have already been lived.
True.
Neem Karoli Baba's story, it's already there.
Yeah.
Swami Vivekananda or any other monk. And there's amazing, there's just so many monks out there, so many beautiful souls out there who have already lived their story. But it takes the right person to actually document that story, share that story, and give it the space and the place and the honor that it deserves to. So it becomes an inspiration for the generations to come. So I really congratulate you for this beautiful mission that you are up to. And I want to ask you this one last question.
Yes.
5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Oh, that's an amazing question. 5 years from now, I do see myself working on an amazing hero from India. Gathering a team, a very ambitious team, and making a film on them, and taking it
When you say hero, you mean like
like someone who has lived in India.
So a biopic.
A biopic, absolutely. As I said earlier, that I do want to work on such mystical beings, who have done so much for the people around them, and this also reminds me of one of, Swami Vivekananda's, one of his phrases, कि दूसरों की उन्नति में अपनी उन्नति समझनी चाहिए. So I do want to take whatever these amazing people have done and take it to the world, and I feel that will be that I see my purpose in that, and I think that's what I want to do.
I wish and I pray that all your wishes come true, because they're so beautiful and they're got such good intention. At the end of the day, it is the intention that counts behind every step and action that you take. And thank you so much for sharing your story and sharing the story of Neem Karoli Babaji with the world through Hanuman Ansh. Please look out for this movie and be inspired by a life lived so beautifully. That has inspired, in fact, Steve Jobs and many others.
Yes.
Many others. If you go back and look at them, Ram Dass was, I think, the person who brought his story in America. And probably we have Anupriya, bringing it to the world now. With that, thank you so much for being part of the AIM Storytellers Spotlight. And this is Ekta Bajaj, and we are signing off. And I will see you next time with another guest. Thank you so much.